All right, so buckle up because things are about to get a little crazy. You wanted to know about the power of D.O.G.E. You wanted to know what Trump is thinking, and if people are seeing Elon Musk as a hero. Well, get this. Trump wins the 2024 election. Big surprise. His main goal is cutting the federal budget. But here's where things take a turn into crazy town. He creates this whole new agency, the Department of Government Efficiency, but they're calling it D.O.G.E.
D.O.G.E.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Hold on, D.O.G.E., like the meme coin.
Yes, the D.O.G.E. And it's a pretty calculated move if you think about it. Trump is all about grabbing attention. And D.O.G.E. has this whole image, of the underdog fighting the system, appealing to the everyday person. Using that name, well, it definitely makes a statement.
Okay. So is this just a joke or is this serious?
Well, from what I'm gathering, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy seem pretty serious about reaching their goal of a $2 trillion spending cut. And their first target, the IRS, they're calling it an audit.
Whoa. $2 trillion, that's a lot of zeros.
Right.
What's the plan here? Well, Ramaswamy is quoted in the article saying he wants to know where the money goes. It makes you wonder what they're expecting to find.
The article also mentions that Ramaswamy took a jab at the Defense Department, saying that they can't even keep track of their own $1 trillion budget.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, is this really about efficiency? Or is there some other agenda here that we're not seeing?
It feels like a political meme come to life.
He really does.
So how much power does D.O.G.E. actually have to make these changes happen? Can they just walk in and dismantle the IRS if they want to? Or are there checks and balances in place?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? On paper, they've been given a pretty big mandate to cut spending, and they seem determined to use it. But there's bound to be some pushback from Congress, from the agencies themselves, maybe even from the public. So how far they can actually go? Well, that remains to be seen.
And where does Trump fit into all of this? Is he just letting Musk run wild? It's hard to imagine Trump, who loves being in control, just handing over the reins like that.
It's tough to say for sure. But I have a feeling Trump is orchestrating this whole thing behind the scenes. He knows that putting Musk in charge will grab headlines, create controversy, and ultimately distract everyone from other things.
So it's a classic Trump move. Use someone with a big personality to get attention and push through his agenda.
It's definitely a tactic we've seen him use before. The question is, will it work this time? And at what cost?
Yeah.
That's the question.
That's the question. Oh, and let's not forget about the Department of Education. They're in D.O.G.E.'s sights, too.
Right.
Didn't Trump try to dismantle that whole department during his first term? Seems like he's back for round 2.
He did. And it looks like he's not messing around this time. Ramaswamy is using some pretty strong words, talking about mass reductions and agencies being deleted outright.
Deleted outright.
Right.
That sounds pretty intense. What happens to the people who work there? The programs they run? It feels like there could be some serious consequences.
Yeah, it's definitely a bold move, and there's no doubt the impact will be huge. This isn't just about cutting back a little, it's about reshaping the entire federal government. Like, we're basically rewriting the rules.
So what does this mean for everyone, for us regular people?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's a power play, for sure. D.O.G.E. with Musk and Ramaswamy leading the charge, they basically have free rein to shake things up. But how will it affect our day-to-day lives, our schools, our healthcare, our social services? It's all up in the air.
It's almost like they're playing a real-life game of SimCity, just deleting departments,
Yeah.
weaving budgets around. Except this isn't a game. These decisions impact real people.
Exactly. And the stakes are high. Will this actually lead to a more efficient government, like they say? Or will it just create chaos? What about the possibility of them abusing their power? These are questions we can't just ignore.
It's definitely a lot to think about. On the one hand, you have this promise of a smaller, more efficient government, which could be good in the long run. But then there's also the potential for disruption, job losses, cuts to important services. It's a tricky situation.
Absolutely. And remember, efficiency doesn't automatically mean things are actually working better. You can streamline processes and cut budgets. But you have to be careful. You could end up sacrificing the quality of essential services.
Speaking of tricky situations, let's talk about Elon Musk for a minute. He's a polarizing figure. Some people think he's a genius. Others see him as reckless. What do you think people's opinions are about him taking on this role?
It's hard to say. There are those who believe he's the right person for the job. They see him as someone who's not afraid to challenge the system, someone with a track record of innovation. They think he can bring fresh ideas to the government and make it work better.
Right. But there are also those who are wary of him, right? Who are concerned about his power, his influence.
Exactly. There's definitely a lot of skepticism out there about his motives. and whether he can handle this kind of responsibility. Some people see him as unpredictable, someone who could cause more harm than good.
It's a fascinating dynamic. Here you had this guy known for disrupting industries. Now he's tasked with disrupting the government.
Yeah. It's a story that's still unfolding. We don't know how it will end.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential power of D.O.G.E., what Trump might be thinking, and how people feel about Elon Musk's involvement. But there's one big question that remains. Is this whole thing just a rebranding, a way to package old ideas as something new? Or is there a genuine desire to make the government work better?
That's the question we all need to be asking. Only time will tell. We'll have to see how D.O.G.E. operates, what changes they make, and what the long-term consequences are.
Well, one thing's for sure. This is a story we'll all be watching closely.
Yeah.
So we talked about D.O.G.E. and the IRS and the Department of Education. But I gotta say, that name, it's hard to ignore the connection to the cryptocurrency, right? Is this just some publicity stunt? Or is there like a deeper meaning behind it?
Yeah, it's definitely a clever move from a marketing perspective. I mean, they're tapping into this whole internet culture,
Yeah.
aligning themselves with,
That's kind of thing.
symbol of rebellion against the system. But I actually think there's more to it than just branding.
Oh, I'm listening.
Think about D.O.G.E., the cryptocurrency. It's all about that decentralization, giving power back to the people, disrupting the established financial order. Now you have D.O.G.E., the government agency, with, a kind of similar mission. Shake up the bureaucracy, make it more transparent, put the power back in the hands of the people. It's a pretty bold statement.
So they're using this name to signal a change in how the government works.
Exactly. They're basically saying, we're not doing things the old way anymore. And they're embracing those ideals of the D.O.G.E. cryptocurrency, like efficiency, transparency, empowerment, as their,
Guiding principles.
And it's a pretty risky move, too.
Right.
I mean, they're putting a lot of faith in something that's still really new. Can they actually pull this off? Or is this all just for show?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only time will tell if they can actually live up to what they're saying. But one thing's for sure, they're not afraid to shake things up.
Yeah.
And that's a big change from how the government usually operates.
So the power of D.O.G.E. is real. And it's not just about memes anymore. It's about a huge shift in how we think about government, efficiency, and the role of technology.
Yeah. It's about reimagining the possibilities, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Whether they succeed or fail, I think this will have a lasting impact. It definitely will. So there you have it, folks. The D.O.G.E. Commission is here, and they're ready to turn things upside down. What does this mean for the future of the government? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of D.O.G.E., government disruption, and the future. Until next time, stay curious.